Hello, guys. Hello, my dear friends. Please let me know if you can hear me and you can see me well. You know, I'm always nervous if the connection is really good. Buenos dias, California. Thank you so much. Hello, Anna, but nobody says you can hear me. Greetings to Scotland. Greetings to Illinois, Helsinki Oblast. I am so thank you so much, Duncan. You are the first one. I am really happy to be with you. And it is one of quite rare streams that we have from Kyiv, the brave capital. And I'm really happy to be able to speak with you directly from our capital, the bravest city in the world. Hugs to Texas, hugs to Sweden, and to so many beautiful countries that watching us right now. Pivnichna Carolina, really happy to be with you. I have to tell you that it may be that connection won't be perfect. My beautiful troll hunters, our team of moderators, know that, and they will keep you updated in case something happens, because you know, in hotels it's always like that the connection is not really good. Thank you for your kind words, for your prayers. Thank you for letting me know where are you from. And I am protected by Martin and Spencer, by Philip and Rudy, and by Michael. And I'm so blessed and honored to have these guardians in my life. And thank you so much, and greetings to the Appalachian Mountains. Would love to travel one day. I'm actually really good at climbing the mountains. The only problem is that it often storms when I'm up in the mountains, like thunderstorm, lightning, quite unexpected. And I have to tell you the truth, a lot of people in Ukraine are afraid of thunderstorms, and all because of Russians. And just recently, when I came to Kyiv during this very first day, it was a thunderstorm, but I really believed it was just like a ballistic missile attack or something, because in that case, you rarely get an air raid alert. There is no time. Greetings, Stephen. Greetings, Essa. Greetings, Francois. And so happy to read all of you. I also have sad news to tell you. Like, we were informed with the team of moderators that a great friend, AJ, she had health problems and she passed away. So those of you who believe, those of you who pray, please remember her and pray for her. And she will always remain a friend, and she will always remain a great supporter of Ukraine. And these are like things that I would wish to never tell you. Yeah. Yeah, she was great. She was very bright. She was very kind. And it's always like, it's difficult to speak about that. So let's just think about her. Let's pray for her. And let's love each other and support each other even stronger. I remember those really dark days in my life when I've lost my mom, and you know that before that I've lost my dad, and I have never thought that I won't have my parents that early in my life. I do realize I'm not like super young, but still I believed that. Thank you so much, John, and thank you for all the people who gave us sponsorship and whom I did not mention previously, and Duncan and many more. Thank you. And I remember those days, and that feeling that I had, that they definitely continue, that somewhere in this very big universe, they stay with us, and they are just bigger than what we can see. And I know that many of you in your lives have lost someone already. And let's believe they are somewhere in a much better place. Thank you for your kind words, and I will be happy to answer today your questions, maybe including about Kyiv, but we also have a lot of good topics to discuss, and they are quite, like on different sides, because the first one is these very vivid signs of the future collapse of Russia and their economy. And second is that they are obviously not preparing for a ceasefire or any like serious negotiations, which are in general impossible with Russia. And they are planning or maybe have already started this, summer offensive. Unfortunately, summer is good for operations. It's way easier to do so. So that is like that. I will show you a t-shirt. Some of you who follow me on X and on Instagram might have seen. Do you know what can go like next after this, like reading? Because I'm on a book forum. It's so difficult because it's like a mirror effect, and I see myself in a different. Do you know what goes next? What could you say reading is? Let me know in the comments, because I kind of like this t-shirt. But to tell you the truth, I'm always okay speaking with people on public. It's never a problem. But I'm not very okay. I am not very okay when people come up to me to speak. I'm a bit a little bit introverted in that case. Reading is power. Those who don't know, only answer reading is fundamental. Greetings to Norway and South Africa. I'm so happy. We have a huge community from South Africa. That is a beautiful surprise from your country and your people. Yeah, I will show you because there are versions like that. So, and honestly, like I have to tell, typically I disclose things about Spencer. So Spencer was the one who taught me one word when we spoke about one situation connected with NEFO. By the way, we are finishing our campaign, and I want to thank you all. And we discussed, and then Spencer introduced me to a word prudish. So you see, I'm not prudish in that case. And thank you so much, guys. I will ask you to share our NEFO link if you have it available somewhere on. Or maybe I will do it myself. Even we have actually 87%, and that will be just amazing. And I share it here, the link. Yeah. So I honestly think that reading is sexy. It goes without saying, because it's a part of being smart, and that is also sexy. So I like this t-shirt, and lots of people on that book forum like that t-shirt too. So it was a bit unexpected. Good. And today we will speak about another sexy thing, and that is the collapse of Russia. And whenever I post these videos and we discuss some very obvious things, we may say that there are some people coming, like traditional Russia supporters, who will come and who will keep saying like, oh, you keep speaking about that all the time and it didn't happen yet. It is always, well, like any economic collapse, any collapse of the country, any collapse of the regime, it takes some time. But the processes may have already started, and they can actually be terminal. So just like you believe that the things will improve, you believe that, for example, Putin is in The Hague and Russia can save itself. No, there are so many things that are happening, and they are irreversible. Because of that damage, that this special military operation caused to Russian economy and Russian population. What many forget is it's not so simple to fight this war, and Putin definitely did not have a plan that his special military operation can turn into a 3-year, 4-year full scale war, and in general, it's more than 11 years. Um, Please remember to like this video if you support us. That's important, and this makes it more visible. Yeah, there is a question: where are my potatoes? Um, it's really true because um, now they have serious problems with potatoes in Belarus, and they actually started buying some from abroad. And Belarus is a country that was silently annexed by Russia. And this is exactly what they wanted for Ukraine. And the question about do Ukrainian farmers need help? Well, that's a complex question because sure they do, but it's not perhaps about the physical help. I mean, like people working in the fields, but it's about security because these really good soils that we have in the east and south of Ukraine, many of these fields are mined. And I'm sure you have seen videos, you have seen photos of people who are sowing these fields in very dangerous areas. And it's really difficult because some farmers died on those fields because of the explosions of the mines that Russians left. And what they did is they left these mines in totally unpredictable locations to cause more troubles to Ukrainians. Those of you who have seen liberated areas, you might have noticed what they do to flats, how they left these mines in children's tables, connecting them to toys and doing other bad things just to make more harm. So that's exactly what they did to the fields. That's exactly what they did to the forests. And maybe those of you who travel to Kyiv, you know that there are a lot of forests around Kyiv, around the capital of Ukraine, where the entrance is restricted, and because it can be dangerous, and people know and they don't walk. And actually, in Kyiv, there are a lot of parks. That's a very beautiful city, and you can see literally forests entering the city. And at that time, when you enter this forest, you see real trenches. You see lots of, what's the English for that kind of, you protect yourself with this kind of wire that is dangerous, and you can it's everywhere. And there are so many things that people managed to do during these first weeks of the Russian invasion. And it was done bare bed wire. Spencer is always teaching me English. Thank you so much. Bare bed wire. So there are things that people did in these very first days of very cold February. And that is why it okay, I'm always very careful with language, but this literally pisses me off when I hear Trump saying that it was mud around Kyiv that stopped Putin tanks. I am sorry. And also, mud sank warship Moskva. By the way, today after our live stream, I will share one more vlog, and we will talk more about the Black Sea fleet and how it was upgraded by the Ukrainian marine drones, and all because today is an important day. Lots of good people, lots of Ukraine supporters gathered in Odessa for the Black Sea Security Forum. And you know what? it's really cool that more and more people start talking about the need to defeat Russia. And these are not Ukrainians. These are people from Britain, from the European Union, from the United States, because despite what the White House says, we've got a lot of supporters there, and I'm very grateful for that. And I loved one idea that a colonel from Great Britain shared when he spoke about the need to return nuclear weapons to Ukraine. And if you want to know my thoughts, greetings to Norway and Sweden. And if you want to know more about that, watch this vlog after this video. I am really interested in your opinion. I want to know what you think, because, you know, it's just like that people are kind, but at the same time, like, we need to survive. It's super important to be kind, but like when a bear attacks you, you cannot be kind with that bear, and we have to understand that. So please remember to watch that video. And I want to thank all of you who subscribe to my new channel, Anna Danilchuk, where I share weekly videos. And the one will appear today. Maybe, my dear moderators, you can drop a link to Anna Danilchuk channel so that our community there may grow a little bit more. And I loved it that you loved my last video where I speak about Soviet Union, early Soviet Union memories, which proves that like after I finally synchronize with the best on the planet, literally agent, I have an idea for the second book, and I actually think it will be more interesting than this one. But we first things first. Those of you who keep asking me about, I have to tell you that I have finished 60,000 words. 60,000 words, but now it's super important to do it correctly. So that's like, it's a first step, and it has to be correct. So greetings to all of you people who join us now. It's so good to see the number of viewers growing, and I'm wishing you all the best from Kyiv. I don't know if I can show you, if you can see. Yeah, you can see. Who wants to see some Kyiv? Just like that. I actually had a thought that we could do our live on this beautiful balcony. But do you want to hear? Yeah, I love it how you said, Nail, hello, Kyiv. Say hello, Kyiv. Kyiv will be happy. But I will open the door, and you will hear the sound, and you will realize why we cannot. It's actually the center of Kyiv. I've told you that I'm a bit spoiled. I always like to stay in the center, but you know why? Well, first of all, because it's safer. Do you hear the sound? Yeah, Denmark is just amazing. So greetings from Kyiv, and you can actually see this. Tell me, please, do you want me to take you for a second outside so that you can watch? Let me know. Just for a second. Do you want to go out with me on the balcony? So, well, you do understand that the quality may be not perfect, and I will remain silent, but I will show you more of this beautiful city. Okay. Okay, give us some compliment. And yeah. I love it. And you know, recently I've told you that Kyiv is a beautiful monster, and I kind of like this comparison because it's it's just super big. Can you hear me well? Can you hear me well here? And it's just like super big, and sometimes it's really difficult to travel, and there are so many just like woohoo. So thank you. Yeah, that's the sound of Kyiv and me just like sitting. Today we have this like very realistic video. um, well, I hope you like it. And finally, we have summer. And please tell Donald Trump that I would love it in New York City. Greetings. Thank you so much for your support, Dan. And I have these feelings for skyscrapers. A lot of people and my relatives, um, they say like we don't like these high buildings. We don't feel really good, and so on. And I have to tell you that I like it. So I have a feeling that when I travel to no mud, no Russians. I love you, Pat. So just like let me show you a little bit of the street behind me, maybe, and we will go inside. Woo! It's good that I work out, so I can stand up from the very first try. And now we are lost under the curtains. So welcome back. That was perhaps the most like realistic travel vlog directly uh, from the flat. So let me close the door. And this is where I will drink morning coffee. So thank you for buying me coffees. And I'm really glad. I will later return back to what you have written. And that is always beautiful when you compliment Kyiv. So I've told you that I sometimes call it beautiful monster, and for me it beautifully describes Kyiv because it has some very beautiful things, but it's as a big city, it's classically a monster too. It steals a lot of your time, a lot of your energy, but then you tame it and you enjoy it. And as Francois says, that is the capital of freedom. And I agree with you. Thank you so much, Gary, for your support. And thank you so much, Jenkins. This is amazing that you make our community stronger. And I'm very, very, very grateful for that. Yeah, reading is fundamental. It goes without saying. And it was such a beautiful, intimate moment that I could show you my cave, and every one of you who will one day decide to travel to our capital when it is finally safe. You will be able to experience, and you will have your version of Kyiv. By the way, I don't talk much about literature and culture, and I love it. One of the greatest novels of the 20th century, Ukrainian novels, is The City, which describes Kyiv in a very beautiful way, not just like it later happened with communists and other stuff. So hell yeah. So people have Lutsk and Kyiv. Thank you so much, Bruce, for having Lutsk and Kyiv on Weather app. Yeah. This time it was pretty wet and cold in Lutsk, and it started to be warmer and better later. I would love to come to Denmark. Denmark is a country that fascinates me, and I'm always very grateful for the unchanging support that you demonstrate, your strengths and bravery. And we also have a strong community in Denmark on the channel, I mean, so that is really good. Well, English is not much spoken in Kyiv, but there are a lot of people starting from my generation, I guess, that speak English. But of course, if you think about the cities in which you can meet more foreigners, more volunteers, more people who work in Kyiv and Lviv, that would be So I'm really happy that you liked it. Overwhelming level of cute. I hope it was about the city, not about me. Thank you so much, Rudy. And so let's start talking about the topic of our meeting today, and that is the collapse of the Russian economy, which always goes first, and then the collapse of the Federation. Once again, my protective and kind moderators try to hide my age, but I don't. And it's too late to do that. And especially when I speak about my Soviet memories, early memories. Of course, I don't have a lot, but I do have some. And then when I speak about them, it's quite obvious that, like, I've seen that. So I was born in 1984, and even the fact that, like, I went to school, it was already independent Ukraine, and I was not a pioneer and other stuff, but I do remember a lot of things and problems that we witnessed, that we encountered, and at the same we do not try to hide rage. Come on, that is not such like as if I've told you I'm 139. So and greetings to Australia. I am always very grateful to all of you friends from Australia and New Zealand who join us on these live streams, because I know it's tremendously super early in your countries, and you do that. That's amazing. Sending you lots of love directed specifically to Australia and New Zealand. So okay, so I do have some memories about those early 90s, and I do have some memories about the end of 80s. Once again, as you have seen in my previous video, it was on that new channel, Anna Danilchuk. It was about, like, buying bananas, going shopping with my mother and grandmother, so it's not something serious. But people, thank you so much, Linda. But still, there's, like, problems, the understanding of the things that led to the problems and the collapse of the Soviet economy and the Soviet Union. It was later continued. We continued to discuss that, like, my family, my parents, it was the topic. And one of the reasons was this denial. By the way, that is an important thing. And the denial of the reality. That's what we observe right now in Moscow. That is true. In Ukraine, we have problems. We have lots of different things, but we often speak about them openly. You can read about Ukrainian corruption. You can read about problems on the front lines. You can read about dissatisfaction with these, that, or that. So literally, you know us. You may not be, like, fascinated, but at the same time, you know the reality. And foreigners also who travel to Ukraine, thank you so much. I guess you're talking about Kyiv. So when you understand all of that, you clearly, when you travel to Ukraine, you watch our TV, you read our web pages, you watch my videos, you can see the truth, and you can see the reality, and just, like, good or bad, but that's the real Ukraine. And in Russia, they keep faking. And they keep faking to such an extent that they actually start believing in that faking. They start believing that it's real, it's just, like, working, and everything is fine. I believe one of the main reasons, yeah, sure, I've been to Germany, I've been to Berlin a couple of times, love the city, and Leipzig and Dresden, but I have never been, like, to that, like, in Berlin, but never to this deep West Germany. I would love to. So kia ora. And Yes, so I see the similarity between the fall of the Soviet Union and what happens right now, because, first of all, of this tremendous problems and poverty. And one of the things that we have to understand is that any country, and like most of you come from the countries that have healthy democracies, once again, maybe imperfect, but still healthy democracies. And you cannot imagine this level of lies that we observe in Soviet Union, and then that happens in Russia on the daily basis. Because when ministers speak, when deputies speak, when the presidents speak, they cannot lie to such extent in healthy democracies, because you will stop them and you will say, whoa, come on, that is wrong. What are you saying, man? And in Russia, nobody asks questions, nobody checks. And when you don't see food on the streets, when you don't see food, I mean, in the shops, when I remember once again one of these very first Soviet memories, when you enter a shop and there is nothing apart from shop assistants there. Thank you so much to Balkane. Thank you for your support. And yeah, I know that like a lot of people saying taco, and I actually had to Google it. And yeah, I found the explanation. Trump always chickens out. I'm sorry, but it looks like that, even if he is the greatest deal maker and you like him. But from this perspective, like every 2 weeks, he gives Putin 2 weeks. So I'm sorry, even if you just like him and you can explain to me that I'm mistaken, I'll be happy to. This is the case where I will be happy to be mistaken. Please, let's make 1,000 likes. You can do it, guys. I know. So every 2 weeks he gives 2 weeks, and during these 2 weeks, Putin commits more war crimes. And from this global perspective, it may be that he is now already a collaborator with Trump, with Putin, Trump and Putin, because this happens already. Greetings to Yorkshire, Trav. I hope your weather is better now. And thank you so much, Serkan. Thank you. Greetings from Kyiv to Turkey. So thank you so much for all the kind comments and questions. So why did no one think that Soviet Union can collapse? Not because it was so strong, but because the numbers that people received were totally fake. The Communist Party, the communist leadership could speak whatever they want, and no one could hold them accountable. And then it all collapsed like a house of cards. I watched one really good video recently from a Ukrainian intellectual whom I often follow, Vitaly Portnikov. And there he said, the fact that I've lost the thought. But I'm really happy that you liked my conversation with Valery Pekar. Those of you who did not watch the interview, please check it on the channel. It was very important and educational for me too, because I often speak about this decolonization of Russia, dissolution of Russia, but he structured it so well that it was just unbelievably good. Oh, I've remembered. So in that conversation, Vitaly Portnikov spoke about, and we have 1,000 people watching us. Really honored that so many of you found the time to accompany me in Kyiv. So, Vitaly Portnikov spoke about the fact that really, Ellie, in 1990, no one could believe that Soviet Union can collapse in less than a year. And we had Bush visiting Kyiv saying that, no, we don't have to lose Soviet Union, forget about that, Ukraine should remain a part of the Soviet Union. And then it all collapsed just like in a blink of an eye. And it happens always like that with all these imperial projects of Russia, because let's be honest, Soviet Union was an imperial project of Russia. Nations were Russified, Kremlin was stealing resources from all the regions and districts. And it seemed impossible once again, if you would ask your friends, yourself, your parents, I don't know, back in 1988, in 1989, would Soviet Union collapse? What would people tell you? I'm not exaggerating. Just try to travel back in time or to think about those, like ask your friends, relatives. Was it likely back in 1989 that the Soviet Union will collapse, that you will personally witness that? You wanted it. Maybe as a part of the Cold War, it was seen as a desire, but it seemed very unlikely because they kept lying to the world. They kept demonstrating their strengths with violence. And I am sorry, all of us will agree that violence is not the sign of strength. It is not the sign of strength. If you are really strong, you don't need to demonstrate violence. You don't need to bully anyone. You are confident. You just live your life. And that's what Ukraine did. That's what Denmark does. That's what people in France practice. That's what the people in the United States want. Simply live their life, build a country, improve, start new businesses, and so on. And in Russia, they cannot do it. So Soviet Union had very exhausting, long, complex war in Afghanistan, totally unnecessary, and they practiced that denial. Actually, I think we should speak about that more often on the channel. This denial, because I believe one of the reasons why this special military operation, why Putin blitzkrieg failed, because let's be realistic. Of course, they have millions of people they are prepared to sacrifice. They have North Korea that supplies them with millions. Just think about that, millions of artillery shells. China is working for Russia. So it's not just Ukraine that constantly asks for support. Russia constantly gets that support from way more aggressive and more determined authoritarian regimes. But even with all this support, it was definitely not it was definitely not the plan that this war will continue so long. And a lot of these first Russian soldiers that crossed the border, many of them believed they will be back home in 2 weeks. They are not. They are now with the majority of the Russian soldiers in hell. And many were surprised to see that we did not, applaud them. We did not meet them, because one of the strongest messages of the Russian propaganda back in 2022, before the start of the invasion, was that Ukrainian people will try to meet you with, flowers because you will liberate them. It's totally fake. Thank you so much, Rudy, for buying me coffee, and cheers for that. Yeah, and now, just as Nail says, they are pushing up sunflowers. So they believe that Ukrainian people want them, that Ukrainian people will meet them. Why? Because they know nothing about Ukraine, because they have this denial. They keep denying the truth. They keep denying the reality. They don't want to see it. And it ruins them, because it's not small lies. It's big lies that they practice. And they get defeated by that, because it's not real. And no matter how much you try to fake that reality, well, it doesn't work, because it's not true. It's not true. And even if you make your population believe that, because you've got tons of propagandists who work for millions of dollars and so on, but this does not work like that. Okay. So thank you so much to those of you who buy products in our merch shop. Once again, it's up to you. I never push you to do that, but it's so great because many of you tell me how they actually work as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine, and that you literally, just like this reading is sexy, I should, Oh, I have an idea. Would you buy a t-shirt if it had just like inscription Ukraine is sexy or it's not polite? I'm kind of in this playful mood today. I wonder why. So, would you like a t-shirt like that? Oh, it's too much. Because I like this one. I like this one. Okay, I will let our designer know. And once again, thank you so much for all these good things that you are writing. You are never too old for a t-shirt like that. Thank you so much, Pat. And you know you are a very special friend, and sending you lots of love directly from beautiful Kyiv. So things that we have to keep saying, and we have to remind people. Russia does not show you the real state of their military, the real state of their economy. It's totally fake. And as you beautiful people told me that you beautiful people told me, um, it's super important. Thank you so much for buying me coffee and for all the support. But you have to look at numbers, you have to look at symptoms, you describe it as not just toilet, as not just paper tiger, but toilet paper tiger. And when we think about looting, about how they were stealing literally toilets from the Ukrainian flats, well, I think this metaphor and comparison of Russia to that looks quite realistic. And the level of lies is so big that we literally cannot believe it's happening. And it was just the same about Soviet Union. If I had to name you like these two big lies that remember with my like very early childhood memories, well, first of all, it's just the image of a strong country. uh, it cannot be a strong country when you literally do not have food on the shelves. It was difficult to buy a chicken. It was difficult to buy butter. And for example, it could be that one week you can only get sugar, another week you can get butter. So you go to a shop and you don't have butter and sugar. It's either sugar, a week of sugar, or a week of butter. And then they won't let you buy 4 butter packs. You can only buy 2. By the way, those of you who watched the video and those of you who don't, do check the video. I personally loved recording it. It's on the new channel, Hanna Danilchuk, and it's my early Soviet memories. And it was a very interesting video for me to record. So, can you guess? That's once again, that is Warsaw book. And thank you so much, Peter. I hope you saw Kyiv, and thank you for your coffees and your continued friendship. So, tell me, please, guys. Yeah, I like how you write it. Yes, I bake very good. I am actually a very great cook, but if I eat myself, I just do salads because I am quite quite lazy. But it's never something bad. Plus, it's summer, so there are lots of good things. I love cheese. I love vegetables. I love bread. I eat bread, and I'm not a sweet tooth. That is good. I'm lucky in that case. I don't like ice cream. I've told you that. So let's come back to this situation. I have a question to you, beautiful people. Will you guess it? Because you were not so traumatized by this communist regime. By the way, the video will appear, new video will appear on the channel today too, on that new channel. So why do you think people took, for example, their children to, or anyone they could, to a shop when they had to stand in a very, very long queue for a very, very long period of time? They had to stand there. They had to wait. How do you think, what was the reason why they were actually doing that? Like, why not go alone? Why do you need to take someone? No, not kindergarten. No, in my case, we had like of course, there were no babysitters. You could have either grandparents. In my case, these were grandparents, or a kindergarten, which were more or less okay. But of course, there was no like babysitters. It was not a part of the culture at all. Yes, yes, that's if I pronounce it rightly, because you could get more product. These were counted as two more hands. So literally, my mom could get moral support. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But literally, uh, she can get a pack of butter, and I can get a pack of butter, even if I'm like 5 years, but I'm a person. Yeah, thank you for the ideas. You can always leave me ideas for the next video. So can you imagine like that, just like you cannot go and buy, and I'm not saying 12 or 50, I'm saying like you cannot buy 2 packs or 4 packs that your family may need. And of course the black market was huge, of course, and only those people like, and shop assistants were super corrupt. And that is another reason why Soviet Union, why Russia, why the Kremlin is the mother of corruption, because you did not have access. It was not about justice, it was about looking for an opportunity how to get something. For example, in my life, I have never bribed anyone, and not just because I'm a self like obedient very good citizen, but also because it's very uncomfortable for me, like psychologically that would be very humiliating for me. That is something I don't want to do. Like, I don't feel uncomfortable. Not only it's just like breaking the law, but it's just not comfortable for me. It's humiliating. But if I would live in the Soviet Union, I don't know, because if you cannot buy a chicken for 3 months, and then you can pay like twice more and get a chicken, I would consider an option, because like I like chicken. And that is why Russia is the mother of corruption. So this first lies that I have already explained to you and that I have witnessed myself, and I remember that, is this, thank you so much, world peace, is this this very, like fake image of a strong country. Because if your citizens cannot buy butter, what are we talking about? What wealth or strength are we talking about? It's humiliating. Like when you cannot give people basic products. Guys, I'm not talking about Coca-Cola. I'm not talking about McDonald's here. I'm talking about butter and sugar. So this was one thing, great lies, pretending that you are a strong country when there is nothing on the shelves at all. And then Chernobyl. For me, Chernobyl, I don't remember Chernobyl disaster, but I've told you that my generation in Ukraine is often named Chernobyl generation. We had lots of very stupid jokes, when we were kids, because like we did not understand the tragedy, and just like, do you want something like grouse? What do you say it like? We were actually joking that if we are Chernobyl generation, and if we are Chernobyl generation, and we were literally in Ukrainian, they would say Chernobylty, like without even generation, Chernobylty, and we were named like that because we were born like those people who were born 2 years before, 2 years after. I mean, that approximately around the Chernobyl disaster. So we celebrated the Monster Day. We consider ourselves monsters. You know, when you're 9, you think it's really cool. But then when you discover the size of the tragedy and the size of the evil behind that, oh my God. And how many people suffer, and how many territories, How does your language sound like? Моя мова звучить дуже гарно. І я усім рекомендую, хто хоче вивчати українську мову, тому що вона надзвичайно мелодійна і красива, і росіяни її не розуміють, хоч як вони брешуть, що наші мови подібні. So I hope you liked it, and I hope maybe some of you even understood what I was saying. So that was specifically for Jacob. And thank you so much. Yeah, you know what I notice? I'm always very true with you. And I have seen Olesya Ostrovska-Luta today, and she's really great. I've seen her on Book Arsenal. She is the head of the Arsenal. I am really happy to always speak in Ukrainian to you. And what I also notice that it's a little bit different when I speak English, the intonations, the sounds, and when I speak Ukrainian. I say that Ukrainian, well, for me, of course, Ukrainian is more beautiful than like any other language, but I think it's the same for your languages. It's a normal feeling. But Ukrainian is definitely very different than Russian. I have never spoken Russian. It's another Russian propaganda thing when they want to persuade you that like everybody spoke Russian. I have never spoken Russian. I know Russian. I can read Russian. I prefer not to speak Russian, but like once again, if I meet someone who comes from let's say Georgia or Lithuania, and that's the only foreign language they know because of that Russification, and that is why just like many people know, so I may do that, but I don't like speaking Russian, and barely noticeable. Thank you so much for your support. Yeah, Polish is very close. Like the closest languages, Slovak, Polish, Belarus, and then only Russian. So Russians were trying to, lie that it's one language, And then when you start talking with Russians in Ukrainian, somehow they don't understand anything. Thank you so much, Ed. It's kind of even funny because like you are saying that you just like, it's one language, then why on earth you don't understand that one language? So it's a good way to debunk their image. And I had a question about Spanish. I'm learning Spanish. It's a long process, and I don't want to finish my classes. I was on the book forum, and tomorrow I will be there too. And I've met an amazing teacher who is also a great Ukrainian translator, and she teaches me Spanish. Y ahora puedo hablar mucho y puedo relatar vosotros mucho sobre mi familia, mi trabajo, mis medias sociales, y no sé qué quieren saber sobre mí, sobre Ucrania. How do you say recently? Hablo con la gente de Colombia porque ahí tengo una amiga que trabaja en El Espectador y ella tenía 2 entrevistas conmigo y después estaba muy feliz hablar con la gente en Fórum de Libres en Colombia, en Bogotá. So I'm sorry. I am sorry. No, we don't have rolling. We don't have rolling in Ukrainian. Ukrainian will be riba, ruki. I don't know. That is a typical Ukrainian. So thank you so much for asking me about the languages. And I like a mí me gusta leer mucho en español y quiero después leer más de Gabriel García Márquez porque es un autor mejor para mí. So I think we should then start a Spanish channel if you promise that we will have a greater community then. So we have to be realistic that all these words that people keep saying when, like, I'm sure you understand that all these conversations about negotiation, ceasefire, meeting in June in Istanbul, it's a smoke screen from Russia. They want to keep targeting Ukraine. They want to pretend that they are negotiating. And they actually do it because they think Trump will pause other nations who are willing to support Ukraine. And that, for example, we need these missiles for air defense, or we need, like, we've got permission to use long-range missiles, but we need more long-range missiles, because some people actually joke that we've got this permission because we ran out of long-range missiles. I don't want to believe it, because that would be very wrong and very unjust. And at the same time, I realize that right now Putin is playing with Trump, and it's really easy for him to trick, Trump, because, like, it's easy for many people, but Putin is an advanced FSB officer, so he knows how to do that. My favorite book of Gabriel García Márquez, El amor en los tiempos del cólera. Sí. And they will keep, like, targeting Ukraine, destroying our lives, destroying our cities. And Putin will say, I'm still writing this memorandum. I'm still thinking about the conditions. And if you arm Ukraine, you will have serious problems. If you do that, you will have serious problems. And the plan is, for as long as it is possible for the Kremlin to pretend that they are getting ready for the negotiations while they destroy Ukraine, and to stop delivering weapons, to stop supporting Ukraine, maybe to put more restrictions of Ukraine, because we are talking to Putin. Maybe he will agree to stop. That is very, very wrong. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, US Sandy, and thank you so much, Lime, for joining Patreon and for buying me coffees. That's an honor and pleasure, and definitely gives more opportunities. You see, now we have another channel, and do remember to subscribe there. It makes me happy, and there are a lot of things that we are able to share. It's a little bit different, it's more personal, and I'm always happy when I can do it together with you. So, the next thing that is very vivid, that they collect soldiers, they amass soldiers, not just in Russia, but also in Belarus. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for joining Buy Me a Coffee. And they have, like, first of all, let's be realistic. Right now, Putin has 1 million army. These are angry, hungry, violent men who finally, maybe for the first time in their life, started receiving money and salaries because, well, he has to pay them. They actually started tricking them, paying them less, but still they started earning money. And they are violent, they are bloodthirsty. Putin cannot return them back home, because this will be a problem for him too. He cannot pretend that he succeeded, because, well, you have to be dumb not to see that Blitzkrieg failed and Ukraine is not demilitarized but militarized, and actually more unified than ever. And they started, like, Putin will keep these people. Putin will keep these people outside Russia. And let me know in the comments below. What do you think? What area, what country, what region is in danger if Russia is not defeated in Ukraine? Personally, I believe like all the world, but if we are more specific, what would you personally think is after? So I see some people say Lithuania, Estonia. Yeah, Francois, of course, the world, but Baltics, Latvia, Baltics, Baltic countries, Estonia, Baltics. Yeah, Suwalki. Heli, that's exactly what I think. Um, and of course, Moldova can be destabilized, but Voxpedia, thank you so much for your support. But all of us, like the majority of us, agree that it's Baltics. Then others, I don't think it will be Poland, but I'm genuinely worried for the elections in Poland. I will not comment much, but this is a trying moment. So Moldova, they can do it this like in a hybrid way, but the fact is, well, I think that the strong army right now is in Ukraine. All the other army that did not try this war and doesn't know how to fly drones cannot be strong. And more Ukrainian trainers are now travel to the NATO countries to train NATO countries how to fight with drones. So I do believe, like a very negative but quite realistic scenario, taking into account once again that they are moving now in Sumy and Kharkiv. They are trying to move, they are trying to attack, and they have a lot of soldiers also in Belarus for the training. Like we remember training in February 2022, and to tell you the truth, I remember myself saying, well, it's impossible. You cannot have a full-scale war in the center of Europe in the 21st century. No one could imagine, like missiles flying. No one could imagine a war with airplanes, with bombers. It all seemed very, very, very far away. If you worry about the seizing of the Black Sea, remember to watch my vlog after this stream. I will tell more about the situation there and why this Black Sea Security Forum is taking place. So that would be hopefully important. And remember to share these videos on your social media platform, because there is so much disinformation, so much trolls and bots. Well, like all of us to some extent live online, and we witness that, and we realize how dangerous and bad that is. So keep that in mind. And if it's not difficult, if it's not like, because we are a free community, we're not Russia, you're not made to share, but that's always very good. Thank you so much, James. And so we see that. So of course, they will use summer and they will try to start another offensive. I personally believe they will not succeed, but these will be difficult months. I don't think that ceasefire will start or everything will end, like many optimistic people believed. Because not just because of Trump, not just because of him, but first of all, because of Russia. Thank you so much to Balkane. And thank you. And also because there are no reasons. There were no reasons for these negotiations or for this pause. There were no background. Thank you so much, Gary, and greetings to you. And there were no reasons, literally, for that. And thank you so much, Jodis. So it was just like Trump talking. You know what is interesting? Once again, also, I've heard someone's sarcasm or irony, and a person was saying that, like, the only person who believed in that ceasefire and in the negotiations on this planet was Donald Trump. Nobody else did. And in case with Ukraine, we have demonstrated we are prepared for a ceasefire. We are prepared for the negotiations. Here we are. And it is only Russia that never accept that never talks about that seriously. And it's just like, let's be realistic. They keep getting ammunition from China and North Korea. They actually started their conscription. They are amassing thousands and thousands of soldiers on the border, so it does not look like the preparation for a ceasefire. But about Suwalki, about the Baltics, it is one of those bad scenarios that we may think, because, you know, uh, we may say that, you know, they won't need a lot of resources, they won't need a lot of missiles, they won't need a lot of soldiers, they won't need nuclear weapons to try to occupy that territory. And they can do it really quickly if we are not prepared enough. And if they do it really quickly, it will be it will be a very negative precedent, because I know that many of you are optimists. I also was, like I am deep down inside, but I mean, I'm realist with Russia. And they will try to do that to undermine NATO. These words that General Kellogg repeated, that Russia's concern about NATO affair, that is a betrayal of NATO. Because saying this, we, first of all, give Putin a veto right inside NATO. So he is the boss of NATO then. Second, this to some extent justifies his attacks on Ukraine, because like Ukraine wanted to be independent, and according to that, and you know what is crazy, that they keep talking about the expansion of NATO to the West. Thank you so much, Pietro. Heroям слава. They keep saying that it's about the expansion of NATO to Russia. Guys, why no one is talking about the expansion of Ruski Mir to the Western world, to those hybrid wars, and all of that stuff? Guys, no, I do not consider running for a parliament. I want to be like a person that deals with cultural diplomacy. That's my area, and I feel very comfortable in that. So, and you know, like I'm writing. That's my big dream, not just fighting in the parliament. Maybe if you let us in the European Parliament, maybe we'll think about that. So Russia is constantly expanding. What we see is Russia expanding in a very bloody, violent way, occupying territories of free, independent states, violating international law. That's what we see. And not the other way around. And they keep saying that NATO expansion is an issue. This is so absurd. This is just like, you know, they talk about those victims of rape that the skirt was too short. And in this case, we're not even in skirt. NATO always denied us, and Russia kept saying that it wants to attack Ukraine. And the only reason why Russia does not want Ukraine in NATO is because then it won't be able to occupy Ukraine. The only thing, because, well, you clearly do not see that NATO is that strong or dangerous about Russia. Because even when Russian drones cross the territory, the border of Poland or Romania, what do we see? Nothing. Escalation management at the top, which is very, very, very wrong. So I know that we are a great community of optimistic, positive people, and I'm a PhD in linguistics. and I studied applied linguistics. Well, please watch more of my new channel, and Spencer, Rudy, Philip, Martin, someone dropped the link to this new channel. Oh, Rudy has just did. Thank you so much. And it's so obvious. Like, I know we are a community of realistic, adequate people, and you do understand that there are no reasons for a ceasefire. There are no reasons for negotiations. Thank you so much to Balkan. Thank you. That is so great. Thank you for making our community stronger. And well, there are no reasons. There are no signs that Putin wanted that. And we are prepared to fight for our lands, for our territory. We want our people back. Life under occupation is not life. That's awful. They torture people, they steal kids. Thousands of kids, that's genocide. No other question about that. And people want to forget about that. I see the future of Ukraine in European Union and NATO, and also teaching others about our experience and learning the things you do well from you in cooperation. And I see Ukraine as a militarized country still. So maybe let's take this 10 minutes or something for blitz questions. We have never done that, but I have just brought you out on the balcony. I also didn't do that. I'd be happy to answer some of your questions really quickly, so maybe not something complex, so that I can answer really quickly. Yeah, Russian war crimes, we can never forget about that. And right now it's approximately 20 Celsius, so finally it's way warmer than it was. Well, we do have a counter plan, but we have to have weapons because China and North Korea constantly supply Russia. And it's not that easy when, like in our case, it's constant delays, doubts, or restrictions. Where is a place you recommend to study Ukrainian more in Kyiv? Well, like, are you talking about the language? Because there are lots of courses that you can actually have online, but there are universities like Kyiv Taras Shevchenko University, Kyiv Mohyla University, or Kyiv School of Economics, but they are not just about languages, they are in general. I don't have any pets, no. How many food shops can you walk to from your room? A lot. There are lots of them. Belarus is currently under the occupation of Russia. I have more optimism for their people. And I believe one day they will be liberated. They are less intoxicated with imperial mist than Russians, but right now they are zombified and they are afraid. I did not give Elon Musk the black eye. I would not like to touch him even with my fist. And actually, I did not share that video of him being definitely under the influence of something because I felt disgusted and really sorry for him. I would consider a world tour, but that sounds so honorary, and I feel humbled. Maybe one day, and maybe if I get a literary agent. Well, I did not tune Trump out of Russia negotiations. He kind of chickened out. Once again, I don't have pets. Still didn't since the previous answer. What's the most challenging Ukrainian word for, well, those with ts, perhaps. And do you remember how at the beginning of the war, we kept saying palanitsa? It was a word that we used to check people and how they say palanitsa. And if you say like, kиця їсть паляницю з полуницею, we have this like a lot of sounds like that. And I said cat eats bread with strawberries. Can you tell us about linguistics a little bit? Well, it has to be a separate subject or lecture, but of course I don't like Noam Chomsky, and I actually never did, even before he started supporting Russia because he hates the United States. Where is Anna now? Anna is in Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, and I like it. Is there Ukrainian food dish you recommend? Of course, borscht. Borscht number one. I'm not a fan of vareniki. My PhD was about shortening of the narrative distance in the letter discourse, and I analyzed like fiction, short stories, and so on. Maybe you've lost. So interesting, by the way, to answer your questions really quickly. Well, I can take you to the forest path, and I can actually do that on the new channel so that more people will see the park. And finally, the weather is really good. Have you been in the shelters last couple of days? I think you mean bomb shelters. I was once in Kyiv, but I was in the underground, so it's not just like a classical one. We don't have taco shops in Ukraine. That is a good deal for Trump. Instead of mineral deal, we can have taco deal because I think it's tasty, and I don't have Russian friends. I'm lucky not to have Russian friends and Russian relatives. I live really far away from Russia, 80 kilometers. Lutsk is 80 kilometers from Poland, so I have like Polish friends. G is pronounced as H in most cases, but we would say Gary to name you. But for example, money in Ukrainian hroshi, or a book will be kniha. Can you hear that? That is a very typical Ukrainian. That is a very typical Ukrainian sound. Iris, you're not that late. We're still here. Yeah, I've heard about taco, and Michael reminds me that walks are really great, so we will practice more of that. I don't want to dance on Putin's grave because I think he will go directly to hell, and that will be a very, very long tunnel. No, refreshing. The fact that I don't like Chomsky is refreshing. Yeah, never did. Even when I was a student and he was considered a superstar, I did not like him somehow. I don't know. I am more optimistic about Mert's recent comments because Mert seems to be more optimistic and more confident. I'm not sure this will help, but as I have already told you, my education, I'm applied linguist. I have masters in applied linguistics, and I'm a PhD also in linguistic Germanic languages. And I love reading, and I have parents who try to make me like this, like like to introduce me to a lot of things. And I also consider myself to be a very curious person, and I have always considered that to be a virtue. I kind of think that curiosity is underestimated. I personally do not remove mines from the parks, but we have sappers, we have people who are trained to do so, and they do the job, of course, close to the city centers. They do it, but still there are lots of territories that are mined, unfortunately, and it's painful for me to say that Ukraine is now the most mined territory in the world. How Germanic is language? Well, is English. English is considered a Germanic language. So it was not my decision, but it's considered like that. I know an old English phrase. Do you want me to say it? Because we actually studied Old English at the university. And I don't know why, but it's just like a part of the preparation of a linguist. You have a lot of phonetics, and we were taught to read Beowulf. And I remember one phrase, and it was really funny because just like now, if I go for a Halloween party or something like that, I can pretend that I know how, like to say some spells or something. Are you ready? Ochtere sede his glavorde that he eura norsmane norsmes bude. And I hope we have some people who can translate from Old English. But I kind of liked it. It was very interesting. It was just a phrase like the knight told to his king that he will travel north direction or something like that. So I liked it and it was really interesting. Remember to like this stream because it was just like so different. Maybe it's just like this Kyiv vibes. You will start liking my streams from Kyiv and you will start sending me to Kyiv so that I can act a little bit different. And I have a question for you, really quick question, and I will let you go and enjoy your Saturday morning, day, evenings. A question: what associations do you have with Kyiv when you think Kyiv? And I will read your associations. I look so hot today because look what I have. Reading is sexy. That's the reason. So, what association do you have with Kyiv? Let me know, and I will read them. Lovely city. Okay, bravery. Thank you so much. Bravery. Як тебе не любити, Київ? I'm a very bad sprint. Vikings. Bonita. I don't know what's that. I mean, like, I know what's that, but is it Kyiv or me? Liberty, freedom. You, freedom, courage, resilience, bravery, strength, hope. Chicken KU, but we are not chickens here, you know. Chickens are in the White House. History, St. Michael's, this community, standing proud, hope, sun. Thank you so much. Free world. Dynamo Kyiv, yeah, sure. Thank you. Vitaly Klitschko, the people, European culture. I love sleeplessness. That's true. Kyiv never sleeps, and you've seen that. It's capital of freedom. And thank you so much for all these words that you say, and big statues and lights and a lot of good things. Thank you. It's such an honor that you love my city and I love you in that city. I'm very grateful that you've decided to spend this hour with me, and I want to thank you again. Kyiv Independent is a good newspaper, and I'm very grateful that you spend this hour with me, for all the coffees that you bought. Cheers, beautiful people. To those of you who became patrons and sponsors of the channel, thank you so much. That's an honor and a blessing, truly blessing to have you in my life. Remember to subscribe to Anna Danilchuk channel because I share weekly videos. I will not overload you. Thank you so much, Stuart, with information there, but it's a little bit different, and YouTube is very sensitive. It doesn't like when the topics are a bit different. So I have decided to separate this channel. So join me that too. Same as my social media. I'm on X fighting there. I'm on Instagram, on Blue Sky, Threads, and we have an amazing Discord community, and guys will prove you that. And I want to thank Michael for the amazing job he does there, and also Martin and Spencer and Philip and Rudy that protect me and that also bring a lot of important information to you, starting from campaigns that we have open like NEFO, and soon we may meet in Kyiv. But also warning you that there are scammers on the channel. Remember, I never invite you to chat privately. I never ask you to join me on Telegram or WhatsApp. Please be careful. Don't let them trick you. And of course, I never ask you for money. I'm always grateful if you buy coffees, become sponsors, but it's never direct commentaries or invitations. So please be careful of that. And thank you so much for all the kindness. Thank you so much for our community and for this friendship that we experience here. And warmest wishes and much love from the brave capital, from Ukraine. And remember that after we win, you just have to come and feel Kyiv, Lviv, Odessa, Kharkiv, Carpathian Mountains, and the Black Sea. And the video about that just in an hour on the channel. Thank you so much. Love you very much, and Slava Ukraini!